Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Living in the Philippine province. Now, every place in the Philippines is in a province, but the term province usually means outside of the city, more of a rural area, small town maybe. And instead of Manila or Davao or Iloilo, Cebu City, Bacolod, those types of cities, larger metropolitan areas. And this happens to be Bogo City, up on the north end of Cebu Island. About, I believe it's about 62 miles or about 100 kilometers north of Cebu City, Cebu City. Doesn't matter how I say Cebu City. Somebody's going to correct me and tell me, no, you're saying it wrong. Anyway, my partner went up here with a large group of people for a funeral of a coworker recently, and she took this video. I have been up through Bogo City uh, at least 3 times, 6 times actually, going up and coming on my way to Malapascua Island. You got to go up through there and go up to Maya Port, and then you take a banca boat over. Oh, I think it's 20-30 minute ride over to Malapascua Island. Anyway, the point of this video is that now here's the funeral going on here. I don't know if they call that a wake or what. And what they'll do in the Philippines, they often a smaller road, they might shut the whole road down, and traffic will have to divert around while they have their little viewing or wake or whatever it's called. And many of you have considered living in the province. A number of you live in the province, love the province life, the slower life, perhaps quieter life, much less expensive living there. Probably land is much more expensive. Rent can be much less expensive. You can get a house. Um, Food may or may not be less expensive. Probably is in the market. I think there are at least a couple of markets, one large market and a number of smaller markets here. You got a hospital. I think anything real serious, you'd end up going to Cebu City, Mandaue City area. Oh, probably 3 hours south of here, I would guess, depending upon traffic, by vehicle anyway. I am working on a cost of living video. What your cost of living would be living here, and I'm going to go over a lot of the details. So be looking for that in the coming week. But they've got hardware stores. They've got a lot of things that you need. Even in Cebu City, we do not have places like Best Buy. We have electronic stores, but nothing to compare to a Best Buy or used to be Circuit City, Fry's Electronics, nothing like that. If there's something like that in Manila, maybe, I'm not aware of it. Possibly could be. I know a number of subscribers, viewers have commented over the months that they had really considered the province life, but after watching a number of my videos and other people's videos, they decided they really wanted to be closer to the big city at least, if not in the big city, just because of availability of goods, conveniences, the bigger hospitals there in case you ever need medical care. Um, if I was out in the province, I would want to have probably a little farm or a large garden or a small farm at least. Maybe even expand into a larger farm eventually, but just depends on the opportunities. And anyway, you can see the sea up there. I believe that's Camotes Sea. Camotes Island is not very far away. I've been over there. I've done a couple videos. For those of you who don't know, I've got over 900 videos up. I do a lot of reviews of condominiums, some subdivisions, uh, primarily in the Cebu City area, but I've been over to Iloilo, Bacolod, over to Bohol, Siquijor. I've got some travel videos, a number of different islands, cost of living videos, Philippine life videos. So you can click on one of those playlists and just watch for hours and hours and hours. I was invited along on this trip, and it was tempting, but because it was a funeral, it was a huge group. I think they took a bus and two or three other vehicles. I think the company provided the vehicles to bring the employees up for this funeral of the coworker. And I don't know, being maybe the only foreigner there, I might put people a little bit, make them a little uncomfortable. Some people feeling they have to try to include me in activities or whatever. But it would have been nice. I've been through Bogo City. I've never stopped there. I have met a couple of expats who live up there. They had looked at a number of places, and they liked Bogo, and they moved up there. I haven't seen them for a couple of years. The north end of Cebu Island, occasionally, every few years, can get a little bit of the typhoon winds. Back in 2013, Typhoon Yolanda came through the north third of Cebu Island, did some major damage. Here's some infrastructure projects that they're doing, and then as you walk down this way, there's a market down here, and I don't think it's the main market. I think this is kind of each kind of neighborhood might have its own little market, I think. And I think this market over here is a smaller one. But the Philippines, almost any place you go, being close to the sea, seafood is plentiful virtually any place you go. I've met a few people who live on islands or provinces, and for instance, the one guy, and I forget what island it was, but he said they process a cow once a week, early Sunday morning, I believe. So if you're not down there early, you're not going to get any beef that day, that week. And yeah, I think he said he took one or two trips into Cebu City per month to go to S&R, different places to pick up the goods that he could not find in his province. So that's one thing. But that's nice too. You get out of town. It's nice once a month to take a trip someplace. And you should just put that in your budget. And yeah, this is a smaller market. I'm not part of the bigger one. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. I would think the biggest reason somebody would not want to live in the province, if you have some medical issues or think that you might in the future, and you may be 3 hours away from the major hospitals and the care that you might need for something major. So that would be a consideration. Bogo itself population is about 78 to 80,000, I believe. Got made up of 29 barangays. Barangays are villages within a town or city. So it's not that small of an area. Spread out, relatively flat. Don't think it really has any major hills or mountains. You're not very far from Medellin, not very far from Hagnia Port, which takes you over to Bantayan Island. And then you got Bantayan on the north end of Cebu Island, not very far away, with some very nice beaches as well. They do have a decent size passenger and ro-ro port there in Bogo, and under the present circumstances with travel restricted a bit, I'm not sure which lines are running. Generally there's a boat that goes between Bogo over to Leyte, the island of Leyte to the east. Not sure what the schedule or situation is. I've looked at some information, but I don't think it is up to date, so I'm not going to put any more information out about that. Now, another issue you might have as you get out into the provinces is getting money. You may find that the ATM machines in town do not take international cards. Now, I suspect that there's there's one or more ATMs here in town that take foreign debit cards, credit cards. But this is a cash society, so you're going to be using cash for most items. Perhaps at your grocery store, you might find they probably take a credit card. Some of your resorts in the northern part of the island will take a credit card. Others will not. I've had that happen to me over on Secure Island. I had to pay cash at one resort. Even if the ATM machines do take the foreign cards, they may not always be operating. They may, during holidays, they might get cleaned out of cash early. So plan ahead. Plan ahead, especially if you're going to live in the province or be traveling to or through the provinces. Plan ahead, have cash, have if one of your cards doesn't work, have a second or third one ready to use. You can always use a money transfer service. Try to send yourself money. They can be a little tricky at times as well. Anyway, just a little bit of a look around, a little bit of discussion about province life. What do you guys think? You guys that are living in the province, how's it working out for you? See you next time.